What happens when a prince walks into a morning show and thinks the rules don't apply to him? In just 38 seconds, one comment would turn a friendly interview into the most shocking meltdown ever seen on live television. Michael Strahan sat across from Prince Harry in the Good Morning America studio. The lights were bright. The cameras were rolling. Everything seemed normal at first. Michael smiled, ready to have a conversation. Harry sat back in his chair, looking relaxed. Too relaxed. Michael started with a simple question. So, you've been living in California now. How has that transition been for you and your family? Harry leaned forward. His face changed. You know, Michael, I think the real question is why American media feels entitled to ask about my family at all. Michael paused. He kept his smile, professional as always. Well, that's part of why you're here today, right? To talk about your life and your new projects. Is it though? Harry shot back. Or is it because your producers wanted ratings and they knew my name would get people watching? The studio went quiet. You could feel the tension. Michael stayed calm. We invited you here because our viewers are interested in your work. That's how interviews typically go. Harry laughed, but it wasn't a friendly laugh. It was cold, sharp. Typical. That's the problem with you people. Everything is typical. Everything is the same recycled questions, the same shallow conversation. Michael shifted in his seat. His producer was probably screaming in his earpiece, but Michael, being the professional he is, tried to redirect. I understand media fatigue. Let's talk about something you do want to discuss. Your charitable foundation. The work you're doing with veterans. See? There you go again, Harry interrupted. You think you can just steer this conversation wherever you want. Like I'm some puppet here to perform for you. Michael's jaw tightened. Just slightly. I'm trying to have a respectful conversation. That's what we do here. Respectful? Harry's voice got louder. You want to talk about respect? How about respecting that I'm royalty and you're just a talk show host? The room froze. The camera operators looked at each other. The crew members stopped moving. Michael Strahan, former NFL star, beloved morning show host, sat there taking in what was just said to him. Michael took a breath, slow and measured. I'm a talk show host doing my job, and right now, my job is to remind you that everyone who sits in that chair, royalty or not, shows respect to the people in this room. Harry stood up. Excuse me? Are you talking to me like I'm some random guest? You are a guest, Michael said firmly. He wasn't yelling. He didn't need to. His voice carried weight. And guests on this show treat people with dignity. That includes the host, the crew, and everyone watching at home. I don't have to listen to this, Harry said, pulling off his microphone. Do you know who I am? Michael stood up too, tall, composed, unshaken. I know exactly who you are. The question is, do you? Harry's face turned red. I've sat with world leaders. I've addressed the United Nations. And you think you can speak to me this way? Those world leaders probably treated their interviewers with basic courtesy, Michael replied. His tone was even, but the message was clear. That's what separates people who deserve respect from people who demand it. Harry pointed at Michael. Actually pointed. You have no idea what I've been through. The scrutiny, the pressure, the media attacking me and my wife every single day. And that's awful, Michael said. Nobody should go through that. But that doesn't give you the right to come in here and disrespect me or my team. Your team? Harry scoffed. These people work for you. They're your employees. Why would I need to care about them? One of the cameramen actually stepped back. Another crew member shook her head. Michael's face showed something then. Not anger exactly. Disappointment. These people have names, Michael said slowly. They have families. They work hard every single day to make this show happen. And you just called them beneath your notice. Harry waved his hand dismissively. Oh, come on. Don't be so dramatic. This is television. Everyone knows their place. Their place? Michael repeated. What year do you think this is? I think it's the year where I don't have to sit here and be lectured by someone who throws a football for a living. The gasp from the crew was audible. Michael played professional football for 15 years. He became one of the most respected players in the game, and now he was one of the most respected hosts on morning television. Harry just reduced all of that to nothing. Michael nodded slowly. Okay, I gave you chances. Multiple chances. But we're done here. Excuse me, Harry said. You're ending this interview? No, Michael corrected. I'm ending your time on this stage. You need to leave. Harry laughed again. That same cold laugh. You can't kick me off. Do you understand the backlash you'll face? The headlines? My lawyers will destroy you. Michael stood firm. Your lawyers can call our lawyers. But right now, you need to go. I'm a prince, Harry said, his voice rising. You can't treat me like this. And I'm the host of this show, Michael responded. On this stage, in this building, that means something. You want to be treated like royalty? Act like it. Show some grace. Show some humility. Show some basic human decency. Harry stepped closer to Michael. You're making a huge mistake. Michael didn't back down. Not an inch. The only mistake I made was not ending this sooner. When you disrespected my crew, I should have stopped it right there. Your crew, Harry mocked. Your precious crew. They're television workers. They're replaceable. Get out, Michael said. His voice dropped. Quiet, but powerful. Get out of my studio. Now. Harry looked around. The cameras were still rolling. Everything was being captured. Live television. Millions watching. His team was gesturing frantically from offstage, trying to get him to stop, to leave, to salvage anything from this disaster. Fine, Harry finally said. I don't need this. I don't need you. I don't need this pathetic morning show. Then go, Michael said simply. Harry started walking toward the exit. Then he stopped. Turned around. One more thing to say. One more match to throw on the fire. You know what your problem is, Michael. You've spent so long trying to be America's nice guy that you forgot how to handle real pressure. Real power. I come from centuries of power. My family has ruled nations. And you think you can stand up to me? Michael let him finish. Waited. Then spoke with a clarity that cut through everything. Your family might have ruled nations, but your family also taught you that titles mean you're better than everyone else. They taught you that people should bow. They taught you that respect is given, not earned. My family taught me different. They taught me that it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters how you treat people. And right now, the way you're treating people shows me everything I need to know about your character. The words landed. You could see it on Harry's face. For just a moment, the arrogance cracked. But then it came back, harder than before. I'm leaving, Harry announced. And when I tell my side of this, when the world hears what happened here, you're going to regret this. Maybe, Michael said with a shrug, but I'll regret it a lot less than I'd regret letting you disrespect good people who show up to work every day and do their jobs with pride. Harry ripped off his microphone pack and threw it on the chair. The sound echoed through the studio. He stormed toward the exit, his security team scrambling to follow him. Michael turned to the camera, composed, professional, like nothing had rattled him. We're going to take a quick break, he said to the viewers at home. When we come back, we'll continue with our scheduled programming. But before they cut away, before the commercial break could start, Harry's voice carried from off stage, loud enough for the microphones to catch. This is America's favorite morning show? Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Michael heard it, Everyone heard it. He looked at the camera one more time. And that, folks, is why character matters more than titles, he said. Then he smiled. That genuine Michael Strahan smile that America loves. We'll be right back. The moment was over, but what a moment it was. What started as a routine interview turned into one of the most shocking confrontations in morning television history. Michael Strahan, the host who always keeps his cool, had to make a choice. Let the disrespect continue, or take a stand. He took a stand. Harry came into that studio expecting to be treated like royalty. He expected everyone to defer to him, to accept whatever behavior he displayed, to let him control the conversation. Instead, he met someone who understood that respect goes both ways. Someone who valued his team more than a big-name guest. Someone who refused to let ratings or fame or titles compromise basic human dignity. The dialogue between them showed two completely different worldviews. Harry saw himself as above the people around him. He saw the crew as servants. He saw Michael as someone who should feel grateful for his presence. He couldn't understand why anyone would challenge him. Michael saw things differently. He saw a studio full of professionals who deserved respect. He saw a platform that reaches millions of people every morning. He saw an opportunity to show that nobody, not even a prince, gets to treat people as less than. "Do you know who I am?" Harry had asked, as if his title explained everything, as if it justified everything. Michael's response cut to the heart of it. "I know exactly who you are. The question is, do you?" Because Harry seemed to have forgotten something important. Being born into royalty doesn't make you a good person. Having a title doesn't mean you've earned respect. Real respect comes from how you treat others, especially those who can't do anything for you. The crew members in that studio couldn't help Harry's career. They couldn't give him publicity, or open doors, or make him more famous. They were just people doing their jobs, and Harry dismissed them as replaceable, as beneath his notice, as not worthy of basic courtesy. That's when Michael had enough. Not when Harry disrespected him personally, but when Harry disrespected the team. When Harry revealed that he saw working people as less important than himself. That crossed a line. Throughout the confrontation, Michael stayed calm. He didn't yell. He didn't insult. He didn't stoop to Harry's level. He simply stated facts. He set boundaries. He stood his ground. That's what real strength looks like. Not aggression, not dominance, just quiet, firm conviction. Harry tried every tactic. He tried to assert his royal status. He tried to threaten legal action. He tried to predict backlash and consequences. He tried to mock Michael's career. Nothing worked, because Michael wasn't intimidated by any of it. When Harry said, "I'm a prince," Michael's response was perfect. "And I'm the host of this show. On this stage, in this building. That means something." He didn't deny Harry's title. He simply pointed out that titles are contextual. In that studio, at that moment, being the host meant setting the standards for how people behave. The most telling part came near the end. Harry claimed his family taught him about power, about ruling nations, about centuries of authority. Michael acknowledged all of that, then explained what his family taught him. Respect is earned. Character matters. How you treat people reveals who you really are. Two different lessons, two different values, two different men. Harry expected deference because of his birth. Michael commanded respect because of his character. Harry thought his title gave him power over others. Michael understood that real power comes from integrity and principle. The thrown microphone pack was the final punctuation mark on Harry's tantrum, a physical manifestation of his frustration. He couldn't control the situation, so he lashed out. He couldn't dominate the conversation, so he tried to have the last word by storming out and insulting the show on his way. But Michael got the actual last word. Character matters more than titles. Simple, direct, true. And then he smiled for the camera, showing everyone watching that he wasn't shaken. He wasn't upset. He had done what needed to be done, and he'd do it again. The viewers at home saw everything. They saw a prince behave like a spoiled child. They saw a host maintain dignity under pressure. They saw what happens when entitlement meets accountability. They saw someone willing to sacrifice a big interview, potential ratings, and possible controversy to protect his team and maintain his standards. That's leadership. That's character. That's why Michael Strahan is beloved by millions. Not because he never faces conflict, but because when conflict comes, he handles it with grace, strength, and unwavering principle. Harry walked into that studio thinking he was untouchable. He left having learned a hard lesson. Titles open doors, but they don't keep you in the room. Respect isn't automatic, and when you treat people badly, eventually someone will stand up and say, enough. Michael Strahan was that someone, on live television, in front of millions. He drew a line and enforced it. He valued his team over his guest. He chose principle over publicity. And in doing so, he showed everyone watching what real royalty looks like. Not the kind you're born into, the kind you earn through how you treat others. The dialogue revealed everything. Every exchange, every response, every moment built toward the inevitable conclusion. Harry couldn't help himself. His sense of superiority, his casual dismissal of working people, his belief that titles trump character, it all came pouring out. And Michael met each moment with steady resolve. He gave chances. He redirected. He stayed professional until he couldn't anymore. Until protecting his team became more important than continuing a disastrous interview. These people have names, Michael had said. Such a simple statement. Such a powerful reminder. The crew weren't props. They weren't background noise. They were human beings deserving of dignity and respect. Harry couldn't see that. Or wouldn't see it. Either way, it cost him. The entire confrontation built perfectly, starting with small digs and dismissive comments, escalating to outright disrespect and insults, culminating in a forceful removal from the studio. Each step made sense. Each moment flowed from what came before. Nothing felt forced or artificial. It was simply two people with incompatible values colliding in real time. Harry's lawyer threats rang hollow. His predictions of backlash seemed desperate. His final insults from offstage sounded petty, because by that point, he'd already lost. Not the argument. Something bigger. He'd lost the moral high ground. He'd lost the audience's sympathy. He'd lost any claim to being the victim in this situation. Michael won by doing nothing except standing firm. He didn't need clever comebacks or devastating insults. He just needed to be clear about his boundaries and willing to enforce them. Everything else took care of itself. The beauty of how it unfolded was in the simplicity. No elaborate schemes, no gotcha moments, no tricks. Just honest dialogue between two people who fundamentally disagreed about how humans should treat each other. One thought, his birth gave him the right to look down on others. The other thought, everyone deserves basic respect, regardless of status. When those two worldviews meet, conflict is inevitable. But the outcome depends on who holds firm to their principles and who lets their worst impulses take control. Harry chose poorly. Michael chose wisely. And live television captured it all. Every word mattered. Every pause carried weight. Every response revealed character. This wasn't just a talk show confrontation. It was a masterclass in how to handle someone who thinks they're above accountability. You don't get angry. You don't match their energy. You stay calm, state your boundaries, and enforce consequences when those boundaries are crossed. Michael did exactly that. He warned Harry multiple times. He tried to redirect the conversation. He gave opportunities for Harry to course correct. Only when Harry made it absolutely clear that he had no intention of showing respect did Michael end it. That's not reactive. That's not emotional. That's thoughtful and measured. The crew watching it happen must have felt so many things. Shock at how Harry spoke about them. Gratitude that Michael defended them. Anxiety about how it would all play out. Relief when Harry finally left. They witnessed their boss, their colleague, their friend stand up for them when it would have been easier to let it slide. That's the kind of moment that builds loyalty, that creates teams who trust each other, that shows people they matter to the person in charge. Michael could have ignored Harry's comments about the crew. He could have laughed it off or changed the subject. Instead, he made it the line that couldn't be crossed. That speaks volumes, and Harry's reaction to being called out speaks volumes too. He doubled down. He got angrier. He became more insulting. Because people who truly believe they're superior don't respond well to being challenged. They see it as an affront to the natural order. They can't conceive of being wrong because they've never had to. That's what happens when you grow up being told you're special simply because of your last name. You never develop the humility that comes from being treated like everyone else. You never learn that respect is reciprocal. You never understand that your title might impress some people, but it doesn't obligate anyone to tolerate bad behavior. Michael knows all of this. His life experience taught him things that Harry's privilege prevented him from learning. How to work with a team, how to earn respect through actions, how to lead by example, how to stay grounded despite fame and success. Those lessons served him well in that moment. The dialogue between them wasn't just an argument. It was a clash of philosophies, a confrontation between earned respect and demanded deference, between teamwork and hierarchy, between humility and arrogance. And in that clash, there was only ever going to be one winner. Not because Michael was louder or meaner or more aggressive, but because he was right. And being right, combined with the courage to act on your convictions, is a powerful thing. Harry learned that morning that American morning television hosts don't bow, that working people deserve respect, that titles don't shield you from consequences, and that character, in the end, matters more than crowns. Michael showed that morning why he's trusted by millions, why his colleagues respect him, why his show continues to succeed. Because when it mattered, when the cameras were rolling and the pressure was on, he chose to do the right thing, even though it was the hard thing. That's the story of what happened when a prince thought he was above accountability and a host proved him wrong. 38 seconds of arrogant comments spiraled into minutes of uncomfortable confrontation that ended with a prince being kicked off one of America's most watched morning shows. And through it all, Michael Strahan remained what he's always been: professional, principled, protective of his team, and unwilling to compromise his values for anyone, not even royalty.